Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Pete, and today, just the purpose of this video is kind of twofold, as I'm going to start going through this will be part one of my record collection. I have the equivalent of about 20 crates of records. I need to make sure everything's up to date just for insurance purposes. So I'm going to go through them all off camera. I will plug them all into my Discogs collection just to make sure that I know what I've got and what everything's kind of worth, just in case, worst case scenario, something potentially should happen to the house. I need to make sure I've got everything covered, because there's a fair bit of rare stuff in amongst my collection. But I'm just going to go through everything. I'll just try and keep these videos relatively short, and we'll get cracking. So first up we have Accept Balls to the Wall. I probably overpronounced that, Accept. Anyway, not my favourite Accept record. They'd probably go to Metal Heart or Russian Roulette, but which I have on CD. But this popped up cheap, so definitely had to have it and add it to the collection. Next up, I don't know how to pronounce these guys' names. I think it's like Venema or something. They're a French melodic death metal band. This was the album that I heard first. I've got them all on CD as well. But one of the best melodic death metal bands that I'd heard in a long, long time. So I went out and bought their entire collection off their web store. So that's the album Procopton. Again, pronunciation on some of these things will be really terrible as I go through them. So that was their third album, I think it was. And also A Dream of Wilderness, which was their fourth album. This one came out on Napalm Records back in 2021. Really like this one as well. Again, have the CD of it. I can't even get it on my record player at the moment due to moving stuff and doing renovations, but this one's a great album which I really enjoy as well. Next up we have Agent Steel, back from the 80s. What's the album? Unstoppable Force. I haven't heard this in years. I can't really remember too much about it. I should, when I get back at my record player, I should give it a spin. I think at one point James Murphy may have played guitar for these guys, which was why I bought it, and I got it dirt cheap back in the day. Everyone was selling the vinyl. I was buying what I could of it, so I need to give that one a listen again. Next up we have Alas, Absolute Purity. This was like a side project of Eric Rutan, who was playing with Morbid Angel for a while there. He's now in Cannibal Corpse. It features, I forget her last name, but I think it's Martina, who sang for Therion for a while. So this is sort of a kind of a gothic kind of vibed album. They only did the one as far as I know. Pretty cool. I really like that. I managed to get it quite cheaply in a bundle of stuff I bought off Discogs, so thought why not grab it. Next up we have Disturbing the Peace by Alcatraz. This was the album that Steve Vai played on, Graham Bonnet on vocals. He replaced Yngwie Malmsteen back in, I think it's like 85 this came out. Yep, 85. I think I prefer the Malmsteen era Alcatraz. I just like his neoclassical stylings, even though Steve Vai is great. Again, this was, people were selling, offloading their vinyl back in the 90s. There was a local store that would buy it. I just buy everything metal that actually came into the shop when I'd go in there. Moving along, we have something a bit more modern with A Legion Proponent for Sentience. Great album. I think this is the one that's, this is the one that's got the three-part Proponent for Sentience tracks, a couple other classics like All Hail Silence, and their cover of Subdivisions by Rush, which is awesome. This is just the black vinyl pressing. I'm a bit of a fanboy of these guys, so I also have the Marble Violet. Is that what they, ultraviolet marbled vinyl as well. So both on Metal Blade. Great album, sort of melodic, technical, modern death metal, if that's the way you want to describe it. I also, oops, moving on, I'll do this one first. So we've got Apoptosis by Allegiant. A great album. I got to see them on this tour in Australia. I can't remember what, this one's just the silver vinyl. And as I said, a bit of a fanboy, so I also have the silver with Oxblood and Black Splatter. It's a bit hard to see. I could pull them all out, but that's going to make things a bit longer. Just a straight Oxblood vinyl. You probably think I'm a bit crazy at this point because I have Trans Purple with black and white splatter as well. And then we have Ultra Clear Black Smoke vinyl. Oh, just things are getting caught up there. There's sticky bits on the Blake sleeves. Then black and white. But wait, that's not all, because I also have the test pressings of that particular album. I got these off Greg Burgess, the guitar player for Allegiant. I sort of reached out to him via being Facebook friends, not that we're like best buddies or anything like that, but have met in person, reached out and sent him a couple of messages. I'm going, hey, I'll give you this for him. He was cool about it, sent him out. So that's the test pressings of Apoptosis. Then moving on to their next album, we have Damn 'Em. This one's a just straight black vinyl. But again, fanboy, smoky black, transparent. That one's 150 or 196 or 200. I just got the European pressings. There's like 3 or 4 different variants in the US, but postage is ridiculous from there. And a clear aqua or blue marbled vinyl. That's numbered as well, 121 of 300. So I only got the Euro versions of that. That's all of it for Allegiant. Now we've got Amorphous Queen of Time. I managed to pick that up from, I think it was a JV Hi-Fi. It was on clearance or something, so it was like $30, which is pretty good for records, especially here in Australia. Some of them tend to be, new releases can be as much as $70, $80 these days. Great album. I really should get their earlier stuff. Probably Elegy would be my favourite album of theirs, maybe Land of Thousand Lakes. A few others as well, which I really enjoy, but that's the only Amorphous album I have. Moving on, something a bit more obscure, we have like a technical thrash kind of band, I guess I'd classify these guys as, which is Anacrusis. The album Manic Impressions. I think this one has, I bought this because it's got a track called Paint a Picture, which I had on a compilation tape, just like a tape that a mate had done up for me back in like 1990, 91, maybe 92. It was just there and just loved the song, so bought the album. They did, offered all their stuff available for download back in what, early 2000s as well. It's just like, here it is. So I do have downloads of all of their stuff. Nothing on CD, unfortunately. Moving on, super classic, underrated thrash band. I should be just over slightly so that I can hold it better towards the camera. And I later, Alice in Hell, Jeff Waters. What can I say? I've just dropped it and probably bent the cover. Oh, these things are designed to be played anyway, and they do get abused a bit, or not so much by me, but they have been. Some have been in the past. This is actually a repress on music on vinyl. I think it's just black, but great album. sticking with Annihilator, we have Never Neverland, change of vocalist. This is probably my favourite of theirs. Some awesome tracks like Sixes and Sevens, Imperial Eyes, Phantasmagoria. There's a great solo in the song. What is it? Ashes, Road to Ashes, Ashes to Ruin. Something. I'm terrible with song names, but it just goes on and on. And you feel like the first time you listen to it, you go, oh, yep, he's going to wrap it up there, but then he just goes into another motif and again, just keeps going on. This one's on purple vinyl. What can I say? Jeff Waters is amazing. I need to get Set the World on Fire, which is the first three are probably my favourites out of all of them, but glad to have that one. Now we're getting into some old school stuff. These are early pressings. We have Anthrax, Spreading the Disease. It was probably one of my favourite albums back in the day. I think I just loved Anthrax because they're so cool and casual, and they wore shorts and kind of just, it was like, hey, I'm like one of those guys. Moving on, Among the Living. These days, this is probably my favourite Anthrax album. It used to be State of Euphoria when I was learning to play guitar. I spent a lot of time with stuff off Spreading the Disease, but this was the first Anthrax album that I had a copy of on tape. I remember we got it home, chucked it in the tape deck, and I was like, there's cello. I was like, is this the right album for the start of Be All End All? But still a great album. There's some awesome songs on this as well. Moving right along, I have the 12-inch EP for Make Me Laugh. It's got, is this one that's got Friggin' and the Riggin' on it? I forget. Let me open this up to have a look. I think I might have bought it for that particular song because it wasn't on the B-Sides Ourselves EP. So we got Make Me Laugh and, yep, Friggin' in the Riggin' and Antisocial on B-side. So I'll swap that back in there. Seal it back up because it keeps the dust out and everything. And the last of my Anthrax albums, Persistence of Time. This is all dated back from early 90s. Bit darker album, still very enjoyable. Loved it when they did In My World on Married with Children, and they did a guest appearance there. Then up next we have the, well, this is not really vinyl anyway, this is just a DVD, Blu-ray, CD live set for Arch Enemy, As the Stages Burn. CD as well. Still cool to have. There's some cool stuff in there, extra things like a lanyard. If I get, that's just a little plastic thing. It's like a I guess an e-book. It's got that in there to help pull it up. So there's the book that it comes with. Cool live album. War Eternal video, You Will Know My Name video, No More Regrets video, and so forth. There's a bonus. Yeah, so for part one, that's about it. So I'll wrap it up there. If there's any of these things you think's really cool, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Until next time, take it easy, and I am out.